Hello, everyone. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes, so please, if you can take your seats. Okay.
نرجو من السادة الحضور التفضل بالجلوس في مقاعدهم. ستسلط جلستنا الثانية الضوء على الدور الجوهري التي تؤديه القطاعات المستقبلية مثل قطاع الطاقة المتجددة والذكاء الاصطناعي في تعزيز أواصر العلاقات الاقتصادية بين كوريا والشرق الأوسط وتوسيع نطاقها. 두 번째 세션에서는 재생 에너지와 인공지능 같은 미래 산업이 한국과 중동의 경제 협력을 어떻게 넓히고 있는지 알아보겠습니다. ينضم إلينا في الجلسة الثانية مدير الجلسة الدكتور كون هيونغ لي، زميل باحث أول في المعهد الكوري للسياسات الاقتصادية الدولية. السيد هوان مين، مدير العلاقات الخارجية وتطوير الأعمال في شركة أوتونوميس A to Z. الدكتور محمد الجفيري، مستشار أول في المؤسسة القطرية للإعلام. السيد دو يون كيم، مدير منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا في شركة نوتا. الدكتور ستيفن رايت، أستاذ جامعة حمد بن خليفة. 먼저 본 세션 진행해 주실 대외 경제충직연구원의 이권형 박사님이십니다. 그리고 함께 해주신 연사분들을 소개해 드리겠습니다. 오토노미스 A to Z 외부 협력을 사업 개발 민동환 이사님께서 세션 2 함께 해주셨습니다. 감사합니다. 스타르 파운데이션 대학교의 기술 이사 함마딜 지페리 박사님께서 세션 2 참여해 주셨습니다. 노타 중동 북아프리카 취업 총괄 김도윤 법인장님께서 오늘 이 자리에 함께 해주고 계십니다. 감사합니다. 하마드 빈 칼리파 대학교 교수 스티븐 라이트 박사님께서 세션 2 함께 해주셨습니다. 무대로 올라와 주시기 바랍니다.
Okay, shall we get started? Good afternoon, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests. My name is Kwon Hyung Lee. I'm from Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, which is a government think tank focusing on trade policies and area studies. I'm very honored to be here with you today. And as you know, this second session is about the future technology cooperation, particularly in AI and the energy sectors. I think this is very timely topic because both Korea and the Middle East countries making very big investments and innovation efforts in these areas. And I think for Korean side, you know that Korea's new government has an ambitious goal in AI, make Korea the global top three AI countries, following the China and the US. So recently, the NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang visited Korea and announced the plan to supply the 260,000 GPUs by 2030. So I think we are a little bit getting closer to that goal. And at the same time, the Middle Eastern countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE also invite the investing heavily in AI as part of their national visions aimed at diversification of their economies. So in some ways, Korea and the Middle East countries may be in friendly competition to become global top-tier AI powers. So today's session is very meaningful to discuss how to cooperate each other to be the global top-tier global AI countries. So we have originally five speakers this session, but unfortunately one speaker is missing. So we have just four speakers, and the speakers have 10 minutes presentation. So we don't have enough time, and we are really behind the schedule. So keep time, presentation time, 10 minutes. Okay, so let me now first introduce our first speaker, Mr. Min Dong-hwan. Floor is yours. Actually, he's the Director of External Relations and Business Development at Autonomous A to Z, actually, which is Korea's leading autonomous driving startup. Okay.
Hello, I'm Hwan Min. I'm truly honored to present in front of the world-class audience. I'm looking for building the partnership from this opportunity. I'm going to explain what is the autonomous vehicle and what Qatar do for the autonomous vehicle industry. First, sorry about it. We are my company name is Autonomous A to Z. We are the world number 11 company in the world. What presents us Guidehouse Global Ranking in this year Worldwide Autonomous Vehicle Driving Technology Board. That's about the 70s of our United States company, the 20s Chinese, for just one European player and one Korean company. The one Korean company is us. Korea is the birthplace of Hyundai Motors, the world's leading autonomous company. This engineer have built our company and developed its technology. Why this ranking is meaningful? The company right above us, the rank 10th is GM's. Yet we are only 0.99 points behind. We have grown step by step, number 1 in Korea 2021, number 13 globally 2023. We are number 11 in the world. It is our main field is Korea. Currently, there is a 17 designated nation autonomous driving pilot zone in country. We are already operating 13 of them, and since we have also secured project in 2 additional zone launch next year. We will present 15 zone in total, covering 88% of the national project. It is not simply that we are operating this region our own funding. We have one government lead project from the local municipal, which does not generate revenue but also serve officer the recognition of the capacity. This has made us undisputed the national champion of the autonomous driving company in Korea. Here is the one case. I will show you the Seoul case. Seoul early morning autonomous bus. This is served operating from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. The city of Seoul internationally limited operating hours so not to create conflict or anxiety among existing bus operators who might fear that AI would take their job. When we first won this project, even we wonder who would actually use the bus at the time. But to our surprise, the bus was fully full every day, security guard, cleaner, and many other essential work who support our daily life. We believe that this presents to ideal social business model where traditional industry and new industry can coexist, commercialize, harmonize. That bus is the shuttle bus. This vehicle is developed by our company, is made with the 96% of the Korean technology. It is the first vehicle of kind of manufacturing in Korea. And this vehicle currently operating Gwanghwamun, the heart of Seoul, Korea, and it also serves as the official autonomous vehicle for APEC Summit, was conducted last month. This is a great opportunity to showcase Korean technology to the world. If you visit Korea, highly recommend to ride this vehicle. Next part is for the Qatar. Build, drive, beyond. It is my key point. Unlikely conventional autonomous vehicle require complex integrated technology from variety of the industries such as the manufacturing, ICT, and AI. Starting autonomous vehicle driving is starting point a new industry ecosystem. And I'm confident if Tata adopt the autonomous vehicle, it will be great help for the country prepare the post-oil era. Autonomous driving will develop AI soft and vehicle manufacturing in Qatar, as well as the mobility service and the smart city industry and data industry. It means that Qatar can make major leap forward in 21st century. Korea hopes to be a partner of the Qatar future development. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation, and thank you very much for keeping time. And our next speaker is Dr. Mohammed Al Jafairi. Please, floor is yours. He's a senior advisor at Qatar Media Corporation. He brings over 2 decades of expertise in digital transformation and project management. Please.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ignacio. I've been in Korea 2016. I had one innovation. It was a drone. I invented a drone that has a magnifier. So it uses the sunlight to burn. So I've had an agreement with one of the biggest universities there. It's called Salmon University. And I gave them the intellectual property of it. And it was very good, successful event. But when I was in Korea, I have seen a lot of big towers. I went to a city called Busan. I was surprised with all of these big towers with one big title, Samsung. Immediately I remembered Qatar because we have the same structure, but we have Qatar Energy. Both countries had a lot of similar cultural effects. For example, our females and Korean females, they have the same shyness, the same way of dealing with others, the same respect to men, the same way of dealing to each other. This is not available in any other culture. We can see that clearly when we see the drama, Korean drama. I have been also seeing a lot of other parts with my experience when I worked with Huawei as a Qatari national expert. So I was representing the Qataris in Huawei, and I was representing Huawei Chinese technology to Qatar. At that time, I've secured the biggest deal in Qatar, and we got Qatar to be the first country to announce 5G in the world. That was with the help of the technology that was brought in from the Chinese Huawei. While I was working with Huawei, I remember that there was a big movement against Huawei globally, and there were immediately sanctions lists. So this giant company, what happened to it? Immediately collapsed. I was working at that time in Huawei, so I immediately thought, why Huawei didn't succeed in building a global presence instead of having only the Chinese presence? The same thing is happening again and again and again in many different environments. Samsung is still Korean. I invite the people and the leaders there to come and start not only in Qatar, but even everywhere in the world to have these kind of presence. Today, as we talk about AI, the biggest energy driller in the world is AI. If you don't go to AI, sorry, you are outdated. Qatar is the energy of the world. Very low cost energy. You have infrastructure. For example, Mr. Juan, when you started your presentation, I really liked what you've been doing. It's amazing because having this autonomous driving vehicles, and in the future, what will happen is again they'll go to drones, auto taxi, auto delivery, and the next big jump is autonomous, which is easier than vehicles autonomous, airplanes. Guess who is the biggest airline in the world? Qatar. Qatar Airways have been doing this for a very long years. And now we cannot do this alone. Like, look at us. How many Qataris are here? Not only here, go to any place in Qatar. It's a diverse economy. If you want to showcase something to the world, come to Qatar. As a Qatari, I would like to use this as part of my speech to invite you as well to start creating a global initiatives and link this kind of agreements between us and other countries. We have the infrastructure, we have the free zones, we have the regulatory framework. It's a small country. You can, within 1 week, meet most of the leaders here. They are down to earth, and immediately you can start doing your business. AI is the future. But what's the biggest use case of AI? The last invention human wants is a researcher, autonomous researcher, because this autonomous researcher will keep innovating itself by improving and evolving itself to a different genetic versions. For example, when it comes to medicine, and you implement this kind of technology, the AI will keep learning and evolving in medicine, and it will create a lot of different diseases, a cureness that we as a human, we cannot have the time, we cannot have the energy to do it alone. And as a human in the loop, The human is the biggest bottleneck in this evolving chain. What can help us to continue this? Robotics. What's after AI? Robotics. Because AI is just a large language pattern recognition. For example, when I say, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. So immediately you responded. How did you know that? Because your next prediction token came out. Immediately you thought, okay, this is how the AI works. It will just predict the next one. When it comes to a different use case, for example, to medicine evolving, or to autonomous driving, or when it comes to even cooking or food, or even any kind of different, let's say, traffic in a city, you need to keep trying and trying and trying. We call this brute forcing. They use it for password finding. For example, I'll try 1111, then 1112, then 113 until I get your password. And this brute forcing, the best in doing these kind of brute forcing techniques is the AI self-evolving. Without robotics, we cannot. But both of us, if we do it alone, for example, if Korea does it alone, they will spend billions, not in robotics, in energy. And that's why a big case is now trying to use space as energy, try to come to Qatar and Middle East and other countries, because we have the solar sunlight, we have the natural resources, we have a very cheap, low cost, high quality LNG products like natural gas. It's very, very high efficient, and it doesn't need a lot of production to have it as a final product. So putting this all together as an infrastructure, what is the biggest next move as we can propose? Every one of you guys have his relations. If you know someone, he knows someone, he knows someone. Take it as a personal opportunity for you, for your family, for your friends. Use this opportunity to come to the infrastructure here. We have the biggest funds in the world coming here, and Qatar is one of the richest countries in the world. They put billions in projects that they have never seen, but they like how they're represented. They like how the financial sheet's looking, how the promising is there. Come to Qatar and start doing this immediately. The entire ecosystem is ready for that. Thank you so much, and I would like, inshallah, to listen to other colleagues as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your insightful remarks. Let me introduce our third speaker, Mr. Kim Do-yeon. Please, close yours. And he's MENA director of Nota AI, where he focuses on market expansion and client engagement in both public and private sectors. Please.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Do-yeon Kim. I'm the MENA director of Nota AI. Before we start, we have a great news. We just successfully in public market in IPOs in weeks ago, and the stock market is really good. So we are doing great, I guess. We are in the close to $1 billion in the company in Korea right now. So hopefully we're going to be expanding not only just globally, especially focus on the GCC market, especially Qatar. Doha can be a next great partner together. So yes, we are AI company, definitely Nota AI, right? So everyone mentioned about AI. So what is the AI? I just want to have a quick question. Exactly, but no one knows actually what is the meaning of the AI. It's a very simple things about AI. It means helping peoples. That's it. Helping people means as a software that's we define as an AI. So I just want to say, let's speak about what we do as a partner in the globally. So we are working very closely with this global partner, especially in NVIDIA, because AI means helping the people as a service, and also we need a machine learning as a big data. So we are partnering with, especially closing with NVIDIA, and collect the data, and we make optimizing with used AI tools. That's what we do. So before we mention about it, I just want to say AI global partner is very diverse right now in the world, but now Korea, hopefully, inshallah, we're gonna be one of the top 3 AI global government in the world, and then with these strengths with Qatar, we can collaboration together. So I just want to say the solution we have. By the way, no worries, I'm not came here to selling or marketing purpose. Just enjoy the service use cases, what we can do with the language model. So for example, AI, there's a 2 sector. First, for just purpose of the machine learning. So with the purpose of the big data, it means they can make a new technology with the machine learning. But second one is the AI with using the service. So we're providing the service with AI. So how we're gonna do it is very simple. As a first use cases I want to introduce called industrial safety. As you can see, industrial area is a very lot of dangerous zone is happening in the sector. So, for example, it can Qatar, for example, in the gas and oil sector or logistics sector, they have a lot of emergency situation might be happening. So what we do is helping for operator and maybe giving the pre-alert for who are actually in danger situation as workers. And in Qatar, for example, if we implementation this CCTV and our edge solutions, we can detect it and giving the alert to the operator, and we can prevent the next hazard and next prevention with the for the increasing for safety. So this is what we do as a safety as a industrial zone. And as you can see, this is automatic, just giving not alarm. So it gives increasing for enhanced safety management and rapid incident response. So it can be helping and actually saving more people and saving the golden time. That's the purpose of the industrial safe zone. And secondly, we are very highly doing great with the intelligence transportation system using AI. For example, I want to show you the video. As you know, right now, recently, I just want to share the information that globally, when the smart city is growing, that grow means like there's a lot of populations and a lot of cars might have a high chance to get car accidents. So what we do is to helping, let's say, Ministry of Transport in the local, we're helping for their operator and then giving the pre-alert with our system. As you can see this video, there's a car accident happening, and then we're giving a pre-alarm and then giving warning automatically, as you can see. And then we're writing the automatic reporting system for the operator. So this is our main language model to providing operator. And then, for example, how many ambulance, how many police car has to arriving and saving the golden time. Those are our main solution we're providing. So it can detect not only car accidents, it can be multimodal perspective and also like fire, any kind of natural disaster. Even people are fainting in the bus station, in metro or tram. We are implementation in the everywhere. So how we do it? We collect the data from the center. It can be any kind of ministry of the police or ministry of like a interior in here. We collect the data previous the car accident or any kind of natural disaster, and then we giving the machine learning for using the GPU, and then this one can be increasing for increasing the safety in the smart city. So that's what we do, and as I mentioned, we're using generative AI and kind of increasing the public safety in the mostly smart city as well. So I just want to say the main 3 things we are focused on right now is a real-time monitoring with the instance alert and event summaries and the analytics report. And lastly, we're using natural language and Q&A. So operator can find the previous record using the reporting system. So that's what we do. Before I finish my presentation, I just want to say this is a great opportunity to collaborate with together. as a between Korea and Qatar AI industry. It can be even university as well. So we're welcome to collaboration with any kind of institution. It will be great. So thank you so much for the participating for this great event. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. Very interesting story. Okay, last but not least, let me introduce the fourth speakers, Dr. Stephen Wright, and he's a professor of international relations and an associate dean for student affairs in Hamad bin Khalifa University. Please.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here with you today at this very important juncture. I think this forum is taking place at a monumental moment in world history. When we think about some of the key themes that were highlighted in this morning's session, it's quite striking that we're living in a moment of profound disruption and transformative change in the international system, whether it is the change that's taking place through technological change through AI, the energy transformation, or indeed the global geopolitical competition with the United States and China. But despite that type of upheaval that's taking place, there are opportunities for strategic collaboration between countries and between regions. And it's in light of that that I want today to focus on a specific area of collaboration where Korea, in particular, with the GCC states, can achieve a win-win partnership for growth in a number of areas. So what I'll be focusing on is about the nexus between AI and the energy transformation. And in particular, I want to give a few observations on these challenging issues to highlight opportunities that exist, because I believe actually in times of this upheaval that we've heard about this morning, safe bets and close collaboration in targeted areas are going to be the most meaningful. So in my presentation, I'll be focusing on three main things. The first thing I'll be looking at is about the needs of AI adoption within the GCC states and how Korea can play a key role in that for achieving AI adoption. And in particular, I think the base load issue is really the key issue, because ultimately speaking, AI adoption within any state requires 24/7 reliance. And ultimately speaking, if we look at Korea, it really is the key player globally, which can actually provide efficient, timely, and reliable nuclear energy. And I'm not saying this is going to be for all states, in particular Qatar, but other states within the region, there are opportunities for that. And I'll unpack this a bit further. The second main pillar that I want to talk about is related to renewables. Now, the GCC itself has very significant ambitions with regard to adoption of renewable energies and renewable technology. But the key issue here is that there's a need for substantial investment in this area, and we're looking at, upwards of $60 billion that will have to be invested in this sector for the GCC states moving forward. What role could Korea potentially play in this? How could it be a win-win scenario for both regions? And then the final aspect I'll be talking about is about strategic diversification. And this is where I want to look at the specific potential for greater collaboration between Korea and Qatar, but also how actually it can benefit Korea's wider strategy with regard to its energy security in terms of future engagement. But I'll unpack each of these in line. Now, I just want to also build upon the excellent presentation by Dr. Mohammed earlier, where he was highlighting about the strengths that exist within Qatar's economy for trade and investment and collaboration with Korea. I think it's worth pointing out that per Standard Chartered Bank, Qatar's economy is projected to double in size by 2031. Now, if you just think about the scale of that type of change that will be unfolding within Qatar in the near future, it really is entering what I would call a golden age for Qatar's economy and how it will be projecting. It is important, though, to recognize that this is also taking place within a broader context within the GCC itself. The GCC states have more than $3 trillion worth of sovereign wealth investments, and while they have this enormous amount of investment and development that's taking place, while Qatar is going to be the most leading one in comparison to Saudi Arabia and UAE in terms of the sheer scale of it, what we can see is that collectively the region is completely transforming, and it is moving into what I would consider to be a pivot geopolitical region, whereby the GCC itself is entering a new era, whereby its influence, whereby its geopolitical relevance, capacity that exists within the state itself is really at a new level. Renewables within the GCC, though, are going to be a very important aspect to this transformation, whereby we're seeing a huge amount of renewables being developed. It will require more than $60 billion, as I mentioned, just within the next 5 years. So there are enormous opportunities. There is competition, though. And the GCC state and Korea should also recognize that China, Japan are all going to be offering alternatives. The GCC has multiple partnerships globally. So the emphasis is really on what Korea can actually offer in terms of the added value that's there. But I'm quite confident that it can be achieved. The second aspect, though, is about the base load dimension, which I mentioned earlier. For all the technology that we've been talking about today, and also in the previous forum, AI requires enormous amounts of energy. Now, that energy, and it's also about the need to develop AI technology in a clean manner, presents an enormous challenge. And I think here you can see that the role potential of Korea will likely come in a multiple phase. Yes, you will see energy production increasing in the Gulf states through, of course, gas and other renewables. But nuclear energy in particular is something that we've already seen a proven concept being achieved at Barak in United Arab Emirates through Korean technology. And in particular, I think the answer for AI adoption comes through small modular reactors, where Korea already has a regulatory approved small modular reactor being adopted. Why do I see this as so important? Because the AI adoption, the data centers, the growth that's going to be taking place in the Gulf region, not only requires enormous amounts of energy, it also requires enormous amounts of water. And this is where actually nuclear technology can actually prove helpful for that. But ultimately speaking, this is a growth area where we'll be seeing enormous development. Now, turning to Qatar in particular, yes, the environment in Qatar is very suitable for collaboration with Korea, and already we have an enormous amounts of trade taking place through LNG with Qatar. But there are still opportunities that need to be taken advantage of. Now, if you look at Korea's own energy transition that's taking place, you can see that Korea will be adopting much more hydrogen energy as part of its energy mix, especially by 2050. Now, if we think about, supplying hydrogen, it's not something you could stick in a tanker and send internationally because of the cooling point of hydrogen. But ammonia can be sent in the existing tanker network. Many of those tankers have been produced by Korea and sent in the form of blue ammonia. Now, in Qatar's case, Qatar has already developed the world's largest blue ammonia facility. And ammonia can be co-injected into coal-fired power stations or with LNG. And in particular, when you look at Korea's own energy mix where it's being projected, it actually calls for ammonia being sourced. What I see is that there is an opportunity here that Korea can look at the supply of ammonia from Qatar, or blue ammonia from Qatar, to augment its existing LNG supplies, and that will then help Korea achieve its particular goals. I recognize Korea has invested more than $100 billion with the United States for LNG recently, but I see the future opportunity with Qatar is going to be through blue ammonia in particular. So I think that needs to be unpacked. But also, more broadly speaking, I think there is also a need across the region. Now, if I think the wider GCC region, there is an infrastructure challenge through high density cabling that requires for energy links for the national grids of different GCC countries to be interconnected, and also with energy poor countries such as Egypt or even Jordan. And I think that's a key trend that we're going to be seeing increasingly within the region, especially in the context of the AI transition. Korea has the ability and the technical capacity to offer a total system approach, which can support those bottlenecks that exist within the GCC framework. So there's definitely an area where there can be collaboration, and it can be done, but it has to be handled in a strategic way. And I think that's the key message here. So in terms of how to achieve a win-win approach where there can be good collaboration between the GCC states and Korea, I think it's important to recognize the positions of both. The GCC states have now entered a new era of economic development and growth, and that's only set to increase further. But at the same time, it has multiple options in terms of who its partners will be. Therefore, Korea's capacity in terms of high technological areas, some of those things we've been seeing throughout our speakers today on this panel, are the type of areas where there can be a value proposition being given to the Gulf states. Also, I think the engagement with Korea as part of its own energy transition to increasingly source ammonia, in particular from the Gulf states' supplies, is another area, and also during joint ventures in emerging markets, in particular in Africa or Iraq, that can be another area for future growth. So just to bring my presentation to a close, I think there is a energy axis that exists whereby you can see the AI growth that will be taking place in the GCC, in addition to its entering into this golden age, which I was highlighting earlier. There is a definite area where there can be collaboration with Korea to help that being achieved through the small modular reactors, the expansion of nuclear energy in Saudi Arabia or the UAE. Likewise, also the wider expansion of the grid networks across the region. All of these things are going to be things that we'll be seeing within the next 5 years or so. So this is something where it all depends on how Korea approaches this area. But likewise, I think in integrating Korea into the value chain with Qatar, in particular through the blue ammonia sector, can only build on its existing linkages with LNG. So I think it's a very optimistic future for Korea and wider Middle Eastern states, and with Qatar in particular. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. His presentation is very comprehensive and very informative. Thank you very much. Okay, now Q&A session, but before opening the floor to the audience, I prepared two kinds of questions. First, to our Korean speakers. I think when you try to enter the Middle Eastern market, probably you had a lot of difficulties and challenges. So could you tell us about the most difficult things you faced, and then how you overcame it to enter the Middle Eastern market? Then it will be very helpful for the Qatari policymakers and companies. So first, the Korean speakers.
Okay. I just want to share experience how we overcome to entering this MENA market, especially in GCC. I speak frankly, it was very, very difficult to entering this market. Mostly European, Chinese, American companies are already set up here, and they've been have a long partnership since decades. So we have a two chance. First, we're using the Korea Demon Hunters, like K-pops. Just be honest with you, we're using actually their weak side. For example, speak frankly, a lot of competitor, which is Chinese market, for example, they are price-wise, they are very cheap. For example, in Americans and European market, they have a strong relationship and decade, and they already integrate a lot of systems. Even Qatar, for the research, most of the signal control and integrate system is come from Europe. It doesn't mean they are not good. It's that they're doing great. So what I learned from them is one thing. First, have to make friends here. Friends means someone who can invite me during the nighttime and have a majlis together and drinks tons of coffee and shisha together. That's the reality actually of the business. So last 3 years, I've been drinking tons of coffee and tea and shisha together, and it works. So I just want to speak very frankly. So I just want to say conclusion for the how I overcome for this entering this MENA market. My approach with the person to person and to try to be a friends and try to expand the network. This is the most key part of the sales part. If they're my friends having a trouble, that's a chance to help be a closer friend. So a lot of my friends in the local, government people usually they move to 2 and 3 years to different sector or different department. That's the time they are having a hard time. But be close with them and then be close with the personal relationship, and that's gonna be how make the overcome this entering the market. So I think it happened in the world like that, but main point is has to be relocated. It can be new relocated place can be Qatar and Doha, and has to set up and make a friends, and that's gonna be how we overcome entering the market easily. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your very frank answers to the difficult questions. And Mr.
Yes, entering the market is not that easy. Yes, and then I'm gonna explain if I imagine that if I starting business in Qatar about the autonomous vehicle, there's pros and cons. So yesterday I look around the Qatar. The transportation environment is very good for the autonomous vehicle. Wide road, and the road is the straight style. There's a pro. A cons is it's hard to do autonomous vehicle because I hard to see the auto electric vehicle charger. Most of the autonomous vehicle operating by electric vehicle. It's hard to find the EV charger. And then I guess if I'm starting business autonomous vehicle, it's hard to find the AI expert in Qatar. That's what the problem. But the autonomous vehicle industry is the good thing is when we're starting business here, we have to build manufacture and etc. under something. If we have chance, we can make an ecosystem with the Qatar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think he emphasized the ecosystem of AI industry and energy industries. So thank you very much for that. And second, to our Middle Eastern side speakers, I'd like to ask in which specific areas the cooperation with Korea would be most beneficial to your country or the MENA side. For example, data centers or semiconductors or very many items to cooperate. So which is your top priority for this area?
So, as a barrier as well, when I was in Korea, I had the same barrier, by the way. I couldn't create friends. It was very hard for me there. So, they come in our majlis and they take shisha nights. I was doing karaoke in Gangnam Street. So that's how I started to get attention, and then we break the ice somehow. And this is the humanity part. It doesn't differentiate anything else. Either we are white, black, brown. We are all humans at the end of the day. Once we know each other, we will find deep relations between us. And For Qatar is a very small country. This is a very good pilot for you guys. For example, when you come here, we have the infrastructure. We have a full coverage of 5G. For example, when it comes to EV charging parts, this is a very good opportunity because if you start now, it means you put your standards. If you put your standards, it means other parts, when they come and they try to compete, it will be very hard for them to replace the existing ecosystem and all these kind of standards. So this is a very, very easy part as well. When it comes to the regulatory part, you will talk to one guy. He's usually from the Transportation Ministry of Transportation or the other company, which is the Karwa biggest and locally transportation ecosystem. So what we look from Koreans, I do believe that the next part is the robotics part. And the Korean tech is very advanced in that. We have the infrastructure, you have the tech, we have the energy, LNG, we have the regulatory part, we have the pilot city, we have the diversity. We just need to shake hands. Creating a VCs and starting a GCC VCs with the oil and gas fund and the family funds and other funds. This is a very rich region. I don't see any problems to start implementing such a thing and try to bridge the gap between all those innovative startups and those innovative ideas to have their showcase here. So I see a very clear blueprint for our relation between Qatar and Korea as well. GCC as well, not only Qatar.
Okay, thank you very much for your valuable answers. And the Professor Stephen.
Thank you so much. I fully agree with the points raised by Dr. Mohammed, so I'll try and build on that further. In terms of the key areas, I think there are two levels that can be done. First one, I think, is to recognize that there are national champions within Qatar and also within the other GCC states, where there are enormous opportunities for collaboration. If you think about Qatar, there are sectors where basically it's being able to achieve a global presence, and it's enabling the overall diversification in the economy as part of the National Development Plan. We can see that in the sports industry. We can see that in also the logistics sector, the finance sector as well, through the sovereign wealth investments. Of course, the energy sector is dominant within that. But all of these sectors that I've highlighted, in addition to emerging sectors such as the defense sector, where there is high technology manufacturing taking place, these are areas where I think Korea can focus on looking at targeted collaborations where it can add value to what Qatar is currently doing. And then also that can be complemented by a second phase. And that second phase is about looking for emerging opportunities in sectors through venture capitalism and collaboration in those areas. So I think it has to be a strategic approach. It has to be one which is targeted, which really fits into achieving excellence in the areas that Qatar is focusing on for its future, but then, of course, complementing that through a broader venture capitalist approach as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your valuable answers. These answers will be very helpful for Korean policymakers and companies. Thank you. And now we'll take some questions from the audience. So if you have a question, then please raise your hands and tell us your name and affiliation. And please specify which speaker your question is for. The lady.
Thank you. My name is Kamala, and I'm coming from oil and gas sector, working mostly as financial and commercial advisor. My question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm here for 3 years now, and I can feel Qatar turning into the area where you have a lot of innovation and very quick development in the country. At the same time, on the personal level, I can also feel that things developing slowly here, probably part of the culture. Do you think that can be an obstacle for the agile development like AI for the future? And if that's the case, do you need any kind of change in the mindset where things are being taken more quickly to adapt to a changing environment, especially with the AI or other things coming up, like I don't know, any other development similar to AI, where they have to move quickly. So do you think that's the case? Do you think the mindset has to change? And if so, how do you think coming, especially with new generations coming that are not going to know the world without AI? Are they going to be automatically more adaptable than the previous generations, or they have to be trained? In general, what do you think about this? Thank you.
So, full answer.
Thanks for the question about obstacle part. I'm the frankly speaker, so I'm gonna say keep frankly. Yes, they have a lot of obstacle in here and very long process as well. Qatar is a great country, but at the same time, adopting the new innovation is kind of take time because just personal experience in this not only Qatar on the this GCC market, they love to adopting really fast. That's what they want. But the problem is, if they want, even though they want to process next step, the problem is the even decision maker is keep trying to pushing forward to make an innovation. But I would say the people are for working actually in the site, they are not willing to maybe to proceed next step very fast. So because they just want to stable what they are. And for example, I presentation about the helping for the operation system, right? It took almost 2.5 years to implementation for those systems to persuade and everything. And now they mention everything is before they know the AI, no one's care about those kind of system. But now, after 2.5 years, they are love to implementation integrating with this system as soon as possible. So it take time. So how we overcome those process? I think this is a very simple things. Even though management level want to proceed from the bottom up, from the person who actually can do the real work, has to be work fast. For example, I cannot pushing for the people who work faster, but they need to dedicate it and move faster somehow with the work process, I guess. Just conclusion part, I'd like to say face-to-face meeting is very important, I understand, but online meetings and faster decision making internally is a very important process to move forward. That's my answer. Yes.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think Qatar is acting in a methodical way, and it's not acting in a way to be speculative. So what do I mean by that? I think if you look at the nature of the current national development plan that Qatar has moved into, it's about focusing on what the country is good at and also focusing on increasing that impact in those targeted areas. That means in terms of how that relates to AI, AI is, we have to be clear about what sector we're talking about. Because, of course, it is still if we're talking about the large language models, it is really only going to be the United States and China that is going to have the dominant impact in that area, simply because of the amount of data that both your countries have. If we think about data centers, we can already see that Saudi Arabia and the UAE have invested more than $20 billion in data centers already. But then the question is, how will that be commercialized? Is it necessarily going to yield the right type of benefits that actually is being done? But in Qatar, I have actually seen a lot of progress in certain areas. I think now actually you can have the building permits being processed completely by AI. So there are changes that are taking place, but I think what you're seeing is it's being done in a very careful way to make sure that there are safeguards, and especially given this is a technology that's changing so rapidly, as your question quite rightly said, that there's a need for regulation, there's a need for it to be done in a very methodical way. So that's what I see taking place here. But the comparison to Saudi and the UAE is that they've invested a huge amount in an area which is speculative. And the question then is that something going to yield the same benefits that are needed? And I think what Qatar's doing now is engage in targeted areas which can have the maximum impact. And I think that's the right approach.
Yes. So regarding your question, yes, there is always a battle between regulations and innovation. This is forever. What I have been fighting for is more innovation than regulation. But what I have witnessed, which I don't say that usually because it's against me. So when Apple comes out with a product, they're not the first in the market. They usually are the last. But when they do something, they perfect it 100%. The same case exactly I witnessed in Qatar. When did Qatar start in media? Al Jazeera is the biggest channel, one of the top. They are very late. Airline, very late in jumping into this industry. LNG, very late comparing to other global countries. But now they are the world's biggest providers. Diplomacy, Qatar diplomacy, very late. It's a new school, but they are perfecting it. And I will keep going. Health, number one in the world. Sports, FIFA. And I can give you thousands and thousands of examples. I don't say that usually because I am again with the innovation. Yes, we are looking for the black swans in innovation. Similar to what we call it, as this is an AI session, we call it the DeepSeek moment. What happened with DeepSeek is one black swan company came out with innovation that changed the entire ecosystem of AI infrastructure with a very low cost. They crashed the market even, and one day they lost, I think, more than $1 trillion. Being the first usually is very costly. For example, let's say if we started 10 years ago in AI and we invested in the infrastructure and these GPUs and all of these parts of innovation, what's the chance for us to still be leading this industry? I believe it's going to be really costly. So I don't know. That's my point of view. We need a balance. Again, we need a balance. But thank you for raising up this. This is a very important topic, and I really hope that we have this kind of sandbox that supports these kinds of innovations in a limitation way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Min.
I want to say you have to study AI and then study China and the United States, but do not follow their way. Find your way. It is important thing. It's like my company is an autonomous vehicle company. The most of the autonomous vehicle company do robotaxi. But our company focus on robot bus because of the Korean transportation system, like the transportation system and the bus system. That means the robot taxi is not for us. Robot taxi is for China and the United States. We starting the autonomous vehicle system, but implementation we do our way. The localization is important. Is one thing is study, not follow. Find your way. That's my the recommendation.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this session is very good for the good combination from the business person to the professors, so we can hear very diverse opinions from the question. And any question? Yeah, the lady.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much for a great talk. I'm Dr. Dania Dother, Executive Director at Gulf International Forum, and also a fellow with the Council. Pleasure to see you all. I had some questions, if you don't mind. I know you touched a little bit about maybe the AI divide. Someone who's based in Washington always talk about the China-US divide. And I think, where do you think that Qatar can place itself with regards to its vision for AI and technological development here in terms of beyond that divide? And where do you see that opportunity between Qatar and Korea? Like, could you recommend like certain area or niches that could be explored in Qatar for further collaboration? And then I had a question about the localized military industrial development. Where do you see opportunities, for example, for Qatar in that area and to cooperate with Korea, which I know there's been some interest across the Gulf into the military industry of Korea as well. Thank you.
Thank you. You had 3 questions. Yeah, many questions. Yeah. So I think the divide between US and China is from the Professor Stephen. So you're first.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Dania. Yeah, it's a very important question and also a very difficult question, because this is a challenge which I think goes beyond Qatar in many respects. So this is a challenge that other states are having to navigate. How do you navigate the global competition that's taking place between China and the United States, whereby having engagement in certain areas with one or the other can actually then lead to a negative backlash or consequences in the relationship? It's a very difficult question. And I think what you can see is for example, like what Singapore is doing is actually trying to navigate and engage with both. And I think that is a type of model which I think for a country like Qatar is the roadmap forward. Basically, you engage with partners on a global basis. You engage with who can actually add the most value. You don't necessarily take a particular biased side, but you are looking in particular for having a broader collaboration. If I take this now to Korea in particular, I think Korea offers enormous value, because basically it's partnering with Korean AI companies, which are in targeted areas that we've seen discussed in the panel today and in other ones. That offers a very effective way to actually navigate those challenges, those cleavages between the United States and China. But I think as a policy position, it really should be about who offers the most value, who can actually, and it's not necessarily one which is dictated by political concerns. It's really about who can actually offer that added value to Qatar's economy and needs.
Yeah.
That's a perfect question, actually. Dr. Stephen, you're right. I think that's a very difficult question. So, but my answer is, more frankly, for example, Korea, we bought from Qatar LNG and natural gas without hesitation because we need it. But Qatar is purchasing AI without any hesitation from Korea? I don't think so, because there are a lot of global competition, as you know. For data center, without hesitation, has to buy from NVIDIA GPU. That's the most recent advanced technology, right? But my frankly speaking, with the AI strategy, is this: we fly from 10 hours from Korea to here, and any kind of government or companies will not investing their valuable time and cost to just participating just one time event. How are we gonna be set up in company here? And I think Qatar government sector or maybe industrial sector has to invest to not Korea. Maybe they can fund it somehow to the making the AI use cases. For example, it can be autonomous vehicle part. It can be operator for the AI. It doesn't have to be a data center, it's too big, you know. So once we make the success case, and then Korea engineers and companies will love to investing and sending the engineers in here, and then maybe educate, collaboration, partner with the university. That's how we work. So without business opportunity, I think it's going to be very hard to collaboration with two countries. That's my just personal opinion. So how is very simple. Korea buy energy without hesitation. I think Qatar government has to buy AI or any kind of technology with Korea government and through without hesitation. And that's going to be future and more realistically processed together. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer, and Dr. Muhammad.
So thank you for sharing this question, because Qatar position usually is a very big question. Do we need to enter the competition? Maybe we can be in the middle. Maybe we can be the Middle East. Okay, so usually entering a battle is not something that is recommended. So what I suggest is there is a very big layer that no one, non-Easterns or Westerns, can do. The Arabic Islamic culture, this is a very big layer. Nobody is playing in this area. We can complete instead of competing. Secondly, we can, let's say, for the sake of example, AGI is out there. Then SGI, which is a super general intelligence. So the curve now, how does it go? Like we are evolving the technology like this. Once somebody, either China or US, reach SGI, it's going to jump like this. Nobody's going to be able to catch up this race. It means there will be a very fast learning curve in medicine, in biology, and robotics, and autonomous, and every different part of the world. So even other nations cannot compete against it, because even if they reached up like a day later, it's gonna be like very far. It's gonna be super fast race. What's gonna happen? Inshallah, Allah la yaqul. I wish that doesn't happen, but at the end of the day, one of those nations will bomb each other data center, or they will hack it, or they will steal the technology over there. That's going to happen because they are excelling, and now they will start taking out all satellites, taking energy, sun energy. They will take space. Slowly, they will start controlling the media, the internet. Every single part of encryption, banking system will be cracked by these super intelligent systems. We can be a secondary data center land, a backup replica, we call it. In technology, we call this term replication of these data centers for both sides. We can play the regulatory policing of AI improvements. Yeah, we can help humanity. We can do a lot of ethics over there. We can start doing this kind of alliance, similar to what Qatar is doing to the AI to the Qatari diplomacy, to the world diplomacy. We can play the role of AI diplomacy, which is a very big topic and very concerning topic, because now the fastness of the speed of progressing in AI is very scary. As a tech guy, if I don't see the news of AI every single day, I'm outdated. Khalas, done. So I hope that we can use your question to enlighten others on how can we really play a big role, not in a competition way, but in a completion way with this ecosystem.
So frankly speaking, AI bubble will be explode within 2 or 3 years. And then China and United States will find the capital source. Qatar, especially petroleum, there is no bubble. 2 or 3 years, everyone want to work with Qatar, I guess. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And another question, yeah, from Dr. Pak. Uh,
Hello, my name is Hek Sumon, and I have a question for both Qatari delegates, Professor Stephen Wright and Jaya Zafari. So my question is, I mean, like Qatar has been actively investigating in artificial intelligence as part of national transformation agenda. So from your perspective, what does sovereign AI truly mean for Qatar? Because it's not only in the terms of technological autonomy and data governances, but also as a pillar of national security and strategic resilience. I mean, we always talk about sovereign AI, and we know this thing will gonna come into like security issues and etc. So I really want to hear about how Qatari delegation define this sovereign AI of Qatar, and what are the the what do we call it, scope of sovereign AI? Because if once you kind of like define it, then you could start building, because as you said, sovereign AI, I mean AI is too big thing and we don't know what will come. So like what are you guys like scope and definition of like in current form? Thank you.
okay, this is also a difficult question.
So first, I would like to thank you not only for this question, but for the previous panel. I was listening to you, and you mentioned Gaza many times. And what makes us a human, you have, maybe you are Muslim or not, I don't assume that, but maybe you are human. You are looking at another human. It doesn't matter what nationality are you, what religion you believe on, what. We are human. We are, even if I'm in the street, I've seen someone who's almost gonna die. I will go and save him. I'll not ask him, what are your religion, what are your beliefs? Okay, sorry, I will not help you die. I mean, that's not what makes us a human. It's the same root cause in AI. There is a very high chance that the sanction of humanity is going to be an output result of an AI. Inshallah, that doesn't happen. But statistically, this is a very high chance. So what role we should play is to start ethically embedding these kind of concepts in all these kind of R&D's labs, producing a new technology to the world without any kind of looking at things inside. In Qatar, there is a very great initiative. It's called FANAR. There are two FANARs. So there is the Islamic FANAR that they teach non-Muslims what is Islam, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the AI FANAR with HBKU. And maybe he will be more better than me talking about it, because this kind of initiative, they built an AI that is from our local humanity ethics. And I believe if they integrate these two things together with the global AI LLMs, I believe that the output is going to be really very good and accurate for all humanity. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you. I think there are two levels in terms of how AI can be adopted or is likely to be adopted within the country. In terms of sovereign AI, in terms of what actually is owned, developed, and controlled by the country entirely, yes. What has been highlighted, FANAR, which is actually developed by my university, Hamad bin Khalifa University, is exactly that. Because ultimately speaking, when we if we just take, for example, any large language model, it's trained on enormous amounts of data. When that text is actually analyzed, it also comes with cultural outlooks, preferences, biases that are linked within it. FANAR is specifically trained on Arabic language texts. So it is culturally appropriate, it is aligned with national values, and it can actually be something which allows for a wider adoption within this in the social setting. That, I think, is a pioneering project, and that is something where you're seeing then a technology which is homegrown, which is which is rooted in the fundamentals of society. And I think that's something which is we can be very proud of. But in addition to that, of course, it's augmenting it with other applications of AI in other areas where it can actually be drawing from specific technologies that can be sourced from the international marketplace. So it's not a black and white. What is sovereign AI? There are specific areas where we have sovereign AI, which is Fanar, but there is also localized specific AI technologies which can be sourced and integrated in Qatar's overall economic and technological ecosystem. And I think that's what we're likely to see. Likewise, also, then the question then becomes one of regulation. And how will regulation likely unfold in the country? My sense is that actually a sectoral regulatory approach with regard to AI allows then the country to have more flexibility and abilities with regard to being a sandbox testbed for development in AI, rather than just having a blanket approach in general. But I think, ultimately speaking, if we think on the global basis, can most countries compete in terms of sovereign AI development against China or the United States? They simply cannot. It's really the two main games on the large aspects is the United States and China, but you will see Qatar doing its own thing.
Let me take just one final question from the audience. No? Yeah, if there is no question, yeah, okay. Yeah, please, micro. So, in the front row. Good.
Well, just a couple of minutes ago, one of the panelists said we will see a blow up in the AI investment. And that means, even though we invest a lot of money right now, but it will eventually fail to yield the appropriate level of profits or, justify our previous investment. So, so can you elaborate why we will see that kind of outcome in the near future? You even said that 2 or 3 years we will see that. Is there any firm ground to justify your case? That's my question.
Why I mentioned the blow up the AI bubble, because these days, if a company explain that our system is AI, but in the deeply the study that's not the AI system, but everyone say AI, because if you have to say AI, the investor invest our company. That's why 2 or 3 years later, everyone knows that was AI. That was just IT system. That's why the blow up AI bubble. Like 10 or 15 years ago, we know the IT bubble. At that time, everyone said IT communication thing, something. Finally, we found it. Google or Meta or some company is survived, but many company is just gone. That's a bubble. That's why I mentioned that 2 or 3 years later, we realized that was not the AI thing. And then the company did not make any profit and product will be blow up. That's why AI blow up. AI bubble blow up. Say that's fine.
So they started with the tulip bubble, the tulip flower bubble. And they say it's a bigger bubble. And until today, the biggest producer of flowers is Holland. It was never a bubble. The same thing was about technology. Internet. They mentioned that internet is a big bubble. Until today, everyone wish that he invested in a domain, short domain name, 5 letters, 4 letters, or even 1, 2 letters like x.com, for example. It's something that it's never a bubble. It's a big debatable topic. What about, for example, Bitcoin and blockchain? Everyone says it's a bubble. And numbers are keeping going. Like Nvidia, they say Nvidia is a big bubble. But let me ask you a question. Qatar now, if today they give us the approval to buy Nvidia chips, we are ready to buy immediately. Every one of you wants to have in his home Nvidia GPU. So it's not a bubble. We don't know what is a bubble, but tech, it means a human improvement. Tech, it means a language is a technology to speak between two people. It was the first technology that a human invented. I mean, before that, maybe the fire, I don't know. But money is a technology. Internet is a technology. AI is a technology. Will AI stop one day? I don't see it stopping. I will see humanity will keep adding layer after layer on these kind of technologies. And maybe from the financial side, we will not see some growth in the future in some fields after 3-4 years, as he mentioned. But will companies stop using AI? Will people stop using it? Will I stop using ChatGPT? As simple as it is, I will never stop it unless it stops. So the more I'm using it, it means it's not a bubble at all. If I see that, okay, it's now a TV channel who never, I don't think that anyone is using TV channel. Now it's a bubble blown up, but maybe a YouTube is going to be born, or video on demand. These kind of new technologies that will replace a previous technology. That's going to happen. But when, we don't know yet.
Mr. Kim, do you have any idea about AI bubble?
Yes, we are a bubble company actually. 5 times higher than stock market than original value. Yes, definitely. 6 times from today's stock market. Yes, a couple of days ago. Well, I want to say about this. Even we are bubble, we hire with those. We got a lot of saving cash right now, and because stock is very high, and what we're gonna do, we make the realities. So we hire more people right now and hiring more engineers with AI and investing in the local market in GCC. So even we are bubble, we make reality. So I don't think there's no bubble in the true reality, because even though we are bubble, we keep investing, hiring the people, make the better version of the AI. So we are keep continue until the bubbles maybe blow up, but hopefully not, inshallah. And then we're gonna keep make it reality and make it happen. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, the Professor Stephen about AI bubble.
Well, I would say that if I knew when bubbles were going to pop, I'll make a lot of money. But they often take a lot longer to pop than people realize. So I'll be optimistic.
Okay, thank you very much. Now it's time to wrap up this session. I think the economic partnership between Korea and the Middle East has lasted for more than 5 decades, from the 1970s to until now. I think in the AI sectors and energy sectors, we also have to develop our partnership together. And I think, as we discussed earlier in this session, the partnership should be very strategic and mutually beneficial, not just transactional. So thank you very much for your participation, and thank you.
شكرا جزيلا على مشاركتكم الفعالة. سنأخذ الآن استراحة قصيرة لتناول القهوة، وسنلتقي مجددا في القاعة عند الساعة 3:45 لاستئناف الجلسة الختامية. 모든 분들은 활발한 참여 관심에 감사드립니다. 이상으로 세션 2를 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 숙비 휴식을 시간을 가진 후 오후 3시 45분 마지막 세션으로 시작하도록 하겠습니다.